What's up? I'm out at XL Park. I'm trying to work on, I'm trying to do some form work, but I'm also looking at a whole bunch of different flippy fairway drivers. Diamond and Roadrunner versus like an F5. And then I normally bag a drift, but I've had a Proto Leopard 3 and a just regular Berry Leopard sitting under my bed for a while, and I like both of those discs. So I just want to see how discs fly. They've been sitting around for a while. Similar things with, got a Pro Thunderbird that I like. It's cold now. This Pro plastic is grippy. So I want to crack that out again, see how it goes. I have these in different categories. I'm going to throw each disc, it's in the same category the same way, but I'm going to throw each category slightly differently. So the understable fairways, I'm going to try to throw 70 to 80% power, pretty steep hyzer, see how they react. Honestly, this guy's getting moved over here. These are neutral, maybe a little understable to trending overstable, but I didn't want to split it into two categories. Fairways, I'm going to throw them, again, 70 to 80%, but I'm going to throw them just a little bit of anhyzer, where these guys are going to be steep. So, honestly, the Thunderbird, I may not even throw. Probably not even going to throw this. The T-Bird I want to see because I want to compare the T-Bird to the Leopard particularly. But this is kind of an outlier in what we're doing right now. Start with the Diamond. That was less than 70% power, and it was low, and it still managed to cut roll all the way over there. That disc is not going to be used by me. Roadrunner. Well, I'm gonna have to throw that one really soft and on a lot of hyzer if I want to throw that. I don't hate it though, honestly. That was not a great throw to show what it can do. F5. That is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish with this sort of throw. Something thrown really soft on hyzer that I feel like I can just like really touch it, work on where I'm aiming it, and this just flips up, S's a little bit, fades back in. That was really nice. I got a streamlined drift. That one I tried to throw a little, like just a touch harder and a little less hyzer than the F5 because I know it's just a touch more stable. Again, that is exactly what I'm looking for in this sort of slot. I could just pick one of those, but I know that I felt throwing those differently, so I'm going to keep them both in, knowing the F5 is a little less stable than the drift. Very happy with both of those throws. Proto Leopard 3. I'm curious to see how this compares to the Leopard that I'm about to throw, and how both of those discs compare to a T-Bird, which for me just pushes straight and then fades out. That seems like it flew just like the drift did. I threw it pretty much exactly how I threw the drift, and or I threw it a little flatter than I threw the drift. But same power, and it just faded out, but never turned, but never faded back in, which is fine. This is just a regular Berry Leopard. Thanks. That one honestly flew a lot like how I expect my T-bird to fly. I still have this thing in my head where I think that that should be less stable than this because it says leopard and this says T-bird. And I think that this is more overstable, but I mean, I could probably accomplish what I want to with this with that just by throwing it a little softer than how I throw this. I'm just kidding. Okay, the T-bird is more overstable than I remembered it being. So I think that the leopard was a little nose up, but the T-bird is noticeably more stable. So I think that those could complement each other, but I don't know if I want F5, drift, leopard, and T-bird all for these like straight to stable fairway slots. So I'm probably just gonna pick a couple of those, whichever I'm most comfortable with. Pro Thundy. I want to say that's a longer version of the drift. Like maybe a touch more stability, but just because it's a touch faster. But the drift glided for so long. I'm gonna be surprised if the Thunderbird is actually further away than the drift or even the F5, even though it's a 9-speed and it felt like that was a lot longer of a throw. I wouldn't be surprised if I get up there and it's a 10-foot difference. Star FL. I normally just forehand this, but I want to see what it compares to the Pro Thunderbird backhand. That pull didn't feel great, but I think that that's a good comparison still. You can see the FL flipped up some, pushed, and then faded out, whereas the Thunderbird really wanted to drift right. And for reference to how flippy that Thunderbird is, here's a Star Thunderbird. You can see that thing just held straight, dumped out. Flippy drivers, last couple throws of the day. Starting with the AJ, steep hyzer, lots of power. Steep hyzer, I'm gonna give it my power, which is not lots of power, but we work with what we got. Definitely cranked over on that. I felt myself pull up at the end, so I couldn't keep it on that hyzer. On this next one, I'm going to try to stay real down over a D2. Flippy 400 D2. I like that a lot. It feels like it's not as powerful because it feels like I'm kind of stuck in the ground so that I can keep that hyzer angle, but it flipped up great and just pushed forever.